Hello there. Can I just check your full name, please?
Yeah, it's Jenny Smith.
Jenny Smith. Okay. What was your preferred name?
Jenny's fine.
Jenny. Okay. So just to introduce myself, my name's Julie Pottock. I'm a psychological wellbeing practitioner here at Health in Mind, and that means I've had training to work with people with common mental health difficulties like anxiety and depression. And I do work as part of a wider team of people with similar training to me. So it might be after the assessment today, you may work with me, you might work with someone else within the team. Okay?
Yeah.
So what we will be doing today is the initial assessment, and that's going to involve exploring your main difficulty, thinking a little bit about how that's affecting you, and we'll go through some questionnaires together. We will look at your safety at the moment, and then we'll think about kind of what that main difficulty is that you want to focus on, and think about what might be helpful for you, and plan out some next steps together.
Yeah.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So we have up to 45 minutes to do that, and just to let you know, Jenny, anything that you tell me today, it is confidential, and any information is stored securely. If there are any concerns though around your safety or the safety of someone else, then sometimes we do have to break that confidentiality and tell the appropriate service or person. If there were concerns of that nature though, I would keep you informed so that you know what's happening. Does that sound alright?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah? Okay. So, just to get started then, so can you tell me a little bit about the main difficulty that's brought you along?
I'm just feeling anxious in supermarkets.
Okay. Describe that a little bit more to me.
It just feels really uncomfortable and scary. I think I look like an idiot, to be honest. I just get panic attacks, so I start having heart palpitations, sweating, feeling like I need to get out.
Okay. So it sounds like a really tough situation.
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah. So there's that sense of I need to get out. Yeah. Do bear with me. I'm just taking a few notes as we talk. And you mentioned palpitations there as well. Yeah. Okay. You also mentioned a sense that you look like an idiot. Tell me a bit more about that.
I just feel like an idiot because I start getting, like the heart palpitations, feeling like I'm going to die, I'm going to have a heart attack, and just wanting to get out and feeling scared that I can't get out.
Okay. So it sounds like a very scary situation, that sense of needing to get out there. And you mentioned there having panic attacks, and you talked about some physical sensations there. So you noticed that you were feeling more sweaty, palpitations. Tell me a bit more about the physical feelings that you have in those situations.
Just getting like horrible feeling in my stomach, needing to go to the toilet, can't catch my breath, so feeling very out of breath, and sort of when I'm in the supermarket.
Yeah. Okay. So sense of needing a loo. You said a horrible feeling in your stomach. Can you describe that?
Just like just needing to get out. Like just sort of butterfly-y, that sort of feeling.
Yeah. So butterflies in your stomach there. Okay. Yeah. And so these physical sensations, do you notice? Is there anything that makes them better?
Leaving.
Yeah.
When I'm not, in the supermarket, and it tends to be as well, I think it's getting worse with sort of busier situations and busier places and places with lots of people.
Yes.
So it's not just the supermarket that I'm noticing it.
Okay. So what other places have you noticed this?
So sort of shopping centres, public transport. I used to be able to get the tube, and I'm avoiding the tube at the moment because just the thought of getting it just fills me with fear.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So you've noticed then, I know you said, sorry, originally it's this supermarkets mainly that you're avoiding, but actually you're noticing it's other places now that are busy,
Yeah.
lots of people around. You said about shopping centres, public transport as well, avoiding the tube. So tell me a little bit about that, the tube.
So I used to get the tube, and my husband has a car, but unfortunately he uses it for work. So I'm now having to either walk or get the bus, and I don't particularly like getting the bus at the moment.
No.
So I'm tending to walk, which is great for me, but it means leaving earlier, more pressure sort of to get to work on time.
Yeah. Okay. How often does this happen now, this having to
Quite a
come
lot.
to work?
Quite a lot, yeah. Sort of avoiding every day. I tend to walk every day at the moment.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So you're walking to work daily now, having to leave earlier.
Yeah.
How much earlier do you have to leave?
About 45 minutes.
Right,
So
okay.
quite a lot earlier.
Yeah. So 45 minutes earlier. Okay. So I know that you mentioned there, so there's the anxiety in supermarkets, you're avoiding the tube. Is there anything else that you're avoiding?
It's just sort of, going out socially around busy places. I'm meant to be going to a festival in a couple of weeks, and I'm absolutely dreading going.
Yeah.
Because of the, be full of thousands of people.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's filling me with fear, to be honest.
Yeah. So you're feeling really fearful around the prospect of the festival.
Yeah.
When did you say that was?
In 2 months'
Couple of
time.
months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You also mentioned about busy social situations you're staying away from. What kind of social situations might they be?
Sort of shopping. So a couple of friends went to Westfield a few weeks ago, and I had to get out. I went and had to leave. Sort of made an excuse to leave.
Yeah.
So just being around lots and lots of people.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago that was, so you had to leave. Did you notice those physical sensations coming on?
Yeah, so sort of started to get hot, sort of loss of breath, thinking, I need to get out of here, how can I escape? And sort of made excuses to friends that I wasn't feeling great. And
okay. And I'm wondering, is there anything else that you're avoiding?
It's starting to have an impact on work, so we have regular sort of work meetings where there's quite a lot of people, and I've made excuses over the past couple of weeks not to attend.
Okay.
I think that's, my boss is going to start to notice.
Yeah. Okay. So there's some avoidance there around the work meetings as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just wondering, in those situations where you are noticing these physical symptoms, I mean, other than leaving the situation, is there anything else that you do to try to cope with the situation?
So if we have been out and about, sort of socially, then I'll have a few glasses of wine just to try and help my mood. It tends to sort of settle me and calm me down.
Yeah.
But no, other than that, not really.
Yeah. You mentioned there are a few glasses of wine. Do you have a sense of how many?
I mean, generally, sort of over a weekend I'll drink, say like a bottle of wine over a weekend. But if we go out and about, I'll probably have a few additional glasses, just to make me feel better, make me feel more chilled out.
Okay. So you've noticed that helps you to feel a bit more chilled out.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm also wondering, in these situations, Jenny, do you notice that they're better if you are around certain people at all?
I mean, when I'm with my husband, it's okay.
Yeah.
And if there's a few friends, but I think because I've been trying to avoid lots of people.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't tend to put myself in a situation where there are lots of people at the moment.
No. So you're very much staying away from it at the moment. Have noticed that it's a bit better with your husband and some friends there.
Yeah.
Okay. And Have you noticed, I mean, is it particularly worse when you're with anyone in particular?
Not really. I suppose it's if I'm tired, if I'm not feeling myself, maybe
Yeah.
if I'm a little bit hungover
Yeah.
after the glasses of wine, I tend to feel it more.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So sort of feeling tired or hungover can make it worse
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know you mentioned that in terms of the thoughts that you've been experiencing, so there's thoughts around I need to get out, I'm looking like an idiot, I'm going to die, I'm scared. Have you noticed any other thoughts that you're experiencing in those situations?
Just am I going mad?
Okay.
You know, what's wrong with me?
Yes.
And it's the thought of not being able to get out of the situation easily, which makes me most frightened.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so it's that thought around not being able to get out.
Yeah,
That
so
seems
if
to be
I'm
the worst
stuck and I
for you.
can't escape, which is
Yes.
ridiculous because I know that I'm not going to be stuck anywhere. But
Yeah, but in that situation, that just sounds really, really
Yeah.
frightening for you.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Do you notice these sorts of thoughts or concerns at any other times, like when you're not in a busy place?
no,
No.
it's just when there's lots of people and crowds.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm just wondering if you know that you've got to go out somewhere that might be busy, is there anything that goes through your mind then?
I try and avoid it if possible.
Yeah.
So for examples like shopping, I've started to do online shopping.
Okay, yes.
So I avoid the supermarket. Again, with clothing shopping, I'll order online rather than
Yes.
having to go to like Westfield or the
Yes.
High Street.
Yeah.
So it's just really trying to avoid it as much as possible.
Yeah. And I'm just wondering if you can't avoid it, is there anything like beforehand that might go through your mind?
Just feeling like a complete idiot. I keep saying.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I don't know why I've started to feel like this.
Yeah.
You know, it's been about 4 months, I think. So,
Okay.
and it's I feel it's getting worse, which is why I've sort of come here really to try and get some help.
Yes, yeah, so it's been getting worse, you feel, over that time.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of wondering, with experiencing this problem day to day, is there anything that triggers this off for you?
No, obviously, like I've said, with work,
Yeah.
work meetings, but no, nothing else really.
I know you've mentioned busy situations
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so from what you're telling me there, so the issue that's brought you along is that anxiety and that started more in supermarkets, but you've noticed it's spreading to other places now anywhere really that's busy with lots of people. You notice those physical sensations, palpitations, feeling sweaty, needing the toilet more, and this leads you then to leaving the situation, so escaping the situation or avoiding it altogether if you can.
Yeah.
You said some social situations you'll try to cope with by having some more drink.
Yeah.
And there's also those thoughts there, those difficult thoughts around looking like an idiot and I'm going to die, I'm scared and what's wrong with me and needing to get out, I've got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay. So, what we can explore now is just think about the impact that this is having on different areas of your life. And I know you've touched on some of those things there already, but I'm just wondering, so you mentioned work and that you have been avoiding, in the last couple of weeks you've been avoiding some meetings. Have you noticed any other impact at work?
No, other than that, work's fine.
I know you mentioned about your boss maybe noticing that avoidance. Is anything being said yet?
Nothing's been said at the moment, but I think it won't be long if I keep sort of missing meetings because they are really important. So I do need to start attending.
Yeah, okay. And I'm also aware in terms of home life and your domestic things, you mentioned you are doing online shopping now, but In terms of any other domestic tasks, have you noticed any impact there?
No, I'm just fairly normal at home.
Yeah, okay. And I know socially, so you've mentioned that there's a tendency to avoid situations where there's lots of people.
Yeah.
Have you noticed impact on your social relationships?
I sort of, not seeing friends as much as maybe as what I would normally. Me and my husband used to go down the pub sort of on a Friday, and I'm trying to avoid that
Yeah, okay.
as much as possible because of obviously the people, crowds.
Okay. And I mean, with that in mind, do you feel there's been an impact on your relationship with your husband?
Yeah, I mean, my husband's getting quite irritable with me. He's getting annoyed because he doesn't understand. He's just a bit snappy.
Okay.
He's trying to also avoid going busy places because he knows that I won't go.
Yeah.
So obviously it's affecting him as well.
Okay, so you feel it's affecting him.
Yeah.
He's being a bit more snappy.
Yeah.
And what about family relationships, other close relationships? Any impact there?
No, I mean, Mum and Dad don't live now, sort of down here anymore.
No.
And we don't really see my husband's family, so no, it's just really sort of friendships,
Yes.
like I've said before.
Yeah, so seeing friends less. And just lastly there, I'm wondering about any hobbies, quiet activities that you normally do. Is there any
So I do
impact?
gardening. I'm still
Yes.
doing gardening.
Yeah.
Cooking, which
Yeah.
I love doing cooking.
enjoy that.
Yeah. Blogging.
Yeah.
And watching just box sets on TV, really.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
box sets, those quiet activities,
Yeah.
you're still
Yeah.
doing okay
Yeah.
there. Okay. So, I mean, from what you've said there then, Jenny, so they're starting to have that impact at work in terms of the meetings, although that's not noticed yet. It's not really an overall impact at home, but you are seeing friends less, and there's that social impact there.
Yeah.
You're managing your quiet activities, but it sounds like it's having some impact there on your relationship with your husband.
Yeah, just grumpy with each other. Really.
Yeah. Does that sound about right?
Yeah,
yeah. Okay. So what we will move on to is now to think about your safety. So we'll go through a risk assessment.
Okay.
We always go through these questions on each appointment to make sure you've got the right level of support.
Yeah.
So it's looking at the safety of yourself and the safety of those people around you.
Okay.
So, with that in mind, are you having any thoughts of ending your life currently?
No.
No. Have you had any thoughts of ending your life in the past?
No. Never.
And currently, are you making any plans to end your life?
No.
And have you made any plans to end your life in the past? No. And at the moment, have you taken any action towards taking your life?
No.
And have you taken any action in the past?
No.
Okay. And I'm aware that you said there, Jenny, that you're not thinking about or planning or taking action to end your life now or in the past. If that were to change and you were having thoughts of suicide, is there anything in your life that would stop you acting on those thoughts?
My husband.
Your husband. Okay. And moving on then to think about self-harm. What is your understanding of self-harm?
So, sort of cutting yourself, just neglecting yourself, I guess.
Could be.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we would look at self-harm really as anything that someone might do deliberately to hurt
Okay.
themselves, but without the intent to end their life.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, are you having any thoughts at the moment of hurting yourself?
No.
And have you had any thoughts like that in the past?
No.
No. And currently are you making any plans to self-harm?
No.
And have you made any plans in the past?
No.
And have you taken any action towards self-harming currently?
No.
And have you taken any action in the past to
No.
self-harm?
No.
Okay. So I'm hearing there that there aren't any thoughts or planning, and you haven't taken any action now or in the past to hurt yourself?
No.
No. So moving on to think about any other risks. So do you feel at the moment that anyone is out to hurt you in any way or cause harm to you?
No.
No. And do you feel that you are posing any risk of harm to anyone?
No, not I can think of, no.
Okay. And in terms of looking after yourself, so your self-care, things like getting washed, dressed, do you feel there's any concerns there?
No, still doing everything fine.
And is there anyone in your life that you have a caring responsibility for?
Other than my husband, no.
No. Okay. I guess what we're getting at there is sometimes people have children or relatives, pets.
Yeah. No, just me and him.
Okay. So, you've basically said there, so there's no concern in terms of risks from others or towards others. You're managing to look after yourself.
Yeah.
So, what we would always make sure that you've got here, Jenny, is we've got some safety numbers here,
Okay.
crisis telephone numbers.
Yeah.
I hear that there aren't any concerns in terms of your safety at the moment, but if that were to change, things were very difficult, you were in crisis, there's a couple of phone numbers here that I'd like you to take away. First one is Samaritans.
Yeah.
It's a free phone telephone number. It's a 24-hour service. They're a listening service.
Okay. Yeah.
So you can contact them if you just wanted to talk to someone.
Yeah.
The other option is the crisis team. This is a 24-hour telephone number.
Okay.
They're a team dedicated to supporting people that are in crisis. So if you're feeling you might hurt yourself, if you're feeling that you can't cope, this would be the number to call.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
if I give you that, would you, if things were particularly difficult, if it changed, would you consider using those numbers to seek
Yeah, of course.
help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
Okay. So thank you for going through those questions there so far. So what we could do now is have a look through the questionnaires.
Okay.
So we always do these on each appointment.
Yeah.
It gives us a baseline figure really for how severe your symptoms are in
Okay.
different areas.
Yeah.
And because these are done at each session, it gives us and you a sense of whether your symptoms are changing over time.
Okay.
So this first one here is the PHQ-9. It looks at symptoms of depression.
Okay.
So you just think, over the last 2 weeks, how often have I been bothered by each of these things here? And you've got the choice of answers there, so just
Okay.
tick whichever one is applicable.
Yeah.
Same with the GAD-7 here, although this one focuses on anxiety.
Okay.
And this last one is a bit different, it's about avoidance.
Okay.
So notice it says phobia here.
Yeah.
There's 3 statements, and if you just give a figure as to how much you would avoid each of these,
Yeah.
0 means I wouldn't avoid it, 8 means I always avoid it.
Okay.
And then don't worry about these questions here, but this last questionnaire here is the Work and Social Adjustment Scale, and this is
Okay.
looking at the impact that your problem is having on how you're managing in these different areas of your life.
Yeah.
A 0 here means there's no impact at all. I'm doing okay in that area,
Yeah.
as I normally would. 8 means a very severe impact to the point I can't do that particular thing at all.
Okay. Yeah.
Would you like me to fill these in for you or with you, or
No,
are you
I'm
happy
happy
to do it?
Yeah, I'm happy to do it. That's
Okay.
fine.
Thank you. Lovely. Thanks for doing that. I'll just have them up if you can bear with me. Okay. Okay, oops. So looking at these, so you can see this one, the PHQ-9, is showing a 3 out of 27, so it's very minimal symptoms of depression there. It's
Okay,
not
yep.
indicating an issue.
Yeah.
The GAD-7 is showing an 11 out of 21, which shows a moderate level of anxiety at the moment.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
how do both of those sound to you?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say I'm really depressed,
No.
but it's probably just more the anxiety, yeah.
Okay. And then the phobia scales here. So you've scored a 6 on this one in the middle here. So situations around having a panic
Yeah.
attack. So yes, so a marked avoidance there of that.
Yeah.
It's not indicating a particular avoidant problem with the other things there.
Okay.
Okay. And then the last one here, the work and social adjustment scale. So showing a little bit of impact on work. So you've got a 3 there, so
Yeah.
kind of slight to definite impact there. Then the other areas, social leisure activities, a definite impact there,
Yeah.
and a definite impact around family and relationships.
Yeah.
Does that reflect, do you think that reflects how you're feeling?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, like I say, it is something that you will come back to, but that's it gives a bit of a baseline for how things are at the moment.
Okay.
Okay. So, we have a few additional questions to go through here, Jenny,
Yeah.
and these really are questions around anything else that might be having an impact on you, that might be affecting how you're feeling and your problem at the moment.
Okay.
Okay, so in terms of the onset of this problem, so you mentioned it was about 4 months ago.
Yeah, I was in the supermarket shopping, and all of a sudden I just felt like I needed to escape.
Right.
There was nothing that particularly
Yeah.
triggered it. I can't think of any reason why it happened.
Yeah. So it sounds like it came quite out of the blue. That's
Completely out of the blue, and like I said, it's just sort of been getting worse and worse, and it's now not just supermarkets, it's sort
Yeah.
of other busy areas as well.
Yeah. So it's gradually, as you said, it's getting worse over time. Okay. Okay. And I mean, have you had any experiences or prior episodes of this in the
No,
past,
never.
or any other mental health problems in the past?
No, nothing at all.
And have you had any treatment in the past at all?
No.
No. Okay, so this is something quite new to you.
Very
Yeah. So I'm just wondering, at the moment, do you take any medication for this problem?
new. I went to the doctors, and he diagnosed diazepam 2 milligrams, but I
Okay.
haven't actually taken any as yet.
Yeah.
It's just there as like a sort of a backup, really,
Okay, so
just
there's
in
a
case I
backup.
need it.
When did you go to the
It
GP?
was last week.
Last week, so
Yeah.
it's quite recent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what were your thoughts on being prescribed that?
I didn't particularly want it, but I just think if it gets worse, I've got the backup just in case. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never taken it before, so
Okay.
I don't know what it's like. But
No.
the doctor said it would just help relax me and
Yeah.
make me feel less stressed. So
Okay. So you've got that. I'm just wondering, are you undergoing any other psychological treatment currently?
No.
And do you take any over-the-counter medication at all? No. Okay. And do you use any illegal substances?
No.
And the next question is about alcohol. I know that you mentioned you have about a bottle of wine at the weekend,
Yeah.
and you'll drink a couple more glasses of wine if you go out as well.
yeah.
Is there anything else you needed to say
No,
about that?
that's
No.
about right.
Okay. And do you smoke?
No.
No. Do you drink caffeine at all?
Yeah, I have sort of 2 or 3 cups of coffee a day.
2 or 3 coffees. Yeah. Has that changed since you've been feeling this way? No. Okay. So I'm just wondering, what's prompted you to come along now for help?
I just want to feel better.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel like this anymore, and to not think I'm a total idiot, really.
Yeah. Okay. So a sense of wanting to just feel better.
Yeah, I want to be able to go like to the festival that I spoke about earlier in a couple of months, and I just want to be able to go shopping on my own
Yeah.
again,
Okay.
back to normal, really.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm just wondering, Jenny, is there anything else that you wanted to let me know that you feel is relevant or impacting on this problem?
No.
Anything you've missed?
No.
No. Okay. So from what you've said there, so this problem has been for about 4 months. It came quite out of the blue there.
Yeah.
You've been given the diazepam. You haven't taken that as yet. You have a sense you've come along now because you just want to feel better.
Yes.
You want
Yeah.
to go to get to the festival. Does
Yeah.
that sound about right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So, what we could do now, we've gone through quite a lot of information, haven't we? We've
Yeah.
explored quite a lot together. So it might be helpful to put things together into something we call a problem statement.
Okay.
And this is a short summary of what you feel the main problem is. It's in your own words.
Okay.
But it brings everything together and it gives a focus really for treatment moving forward.
Yeah.
So it's something you could write or I could write it for you.
Yeah, you can write
Yeah?
it. Yeah.
Okay. So if I said to you, my main problem is, how would you finish that sentence?
Panic in busy places.
Yeah, okay. So panic in those busy places.
Yeah.
You also highlighted some physical sensations that you get in those situations, didn't you?
Yeah.
Is there one of those that is the worst for you?
Probably can't breathe. My heart races.
Yeah.
I need to get out. I'm going to lose control.
Yeah. So I can't breathe, my heart races, and then I need to get out. And,
Yep.
Yeah.
I need to get out. I'm going to lose control. Maybe.
Or I'm going to lose
Yeah.
control. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And we also talked about how this problem is affecting what you're doing.
Yeah.
What would you say is the most difficult thing about what you're doing?
I guess just avoiding anywhere busy,
Yeah.
which is restricting my life at the moment.
Okay, so I'm avoiding anywhere busy.
Yeah.
This is restricting my life. What would you say is the worst sort of restriction or impact on your life?
Just not doing what I enjoy. Going out shopping with friends or spending time with my husband, down the pub and things like that. And also the festival that's coming up.
Yeah, so not doing things that I enjoy, such as shopping, going to pub with husband,
Yeah.
and the festival is coming up.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall I read this back? Tell me what you
Yeah.
think. Okay. My writing's a bit slow here. So my main problem is panic in busy places.
Yeah.
I can't breathe, my heart races, I think I need to get out or I'm going to lose control. I'm avoiding anywhere busy and this is restricting my life. So I'm not doing what I enjoy, such as shopping, going to the pub with my husband, and the festival is coming up.
Yeah.
Does that
No,
sum it up
that's
for you?
Yeah, that's pretty
Okay.
much how I feel.
Okay. So I know that you mentioned in terms of what you wanted to gain from treatment, you said to kind of feel better. Are there particular goals that you've got in mind?
Just
Okay.
again, be able to go into the festival
Go to the
in 2 months'
festival.
time.
So it's in 2 months, yeah.
And to be able to go shopping again on my own. I think that's what I
Yeah.
said before.
Yeah, okay.
Just to not feel like this.
Yeah, yeah. So goals really are to not feel like this, to be able to get to that
Yeah.
festival in 2 months
Yeah.
and to be able to go shopping alone there.
Yeah.
So some nice clear goals that
Yeah.
we could work towards there.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, so we're coming towards the end of the assessment now. And I mean, from everything that we've talked about so far, Jenny, it does indicate that you're experiencing some symptoms of panic and agoraphobia. Have you heard of that before?
I've heard of panic, so obviously like the heart racing
Yeah.
and wanting to
Yeah.
escape and things like that, but not agoraphobia.
Okay, so you're familiar with some of the panic symptoms, but
Yeah.
but not so much agoraphobia. It's common to have the two together actually.
Okay.
Agoraphobia affects people where they notice a fear and a lot of anxiety in places where it's difficult to just escape easily if they needed to.
Yeah.
So common places are things like supermarkets or crowds or queues, public transport.
Okay.
Those sorts of situations become very difficult, and people with acrophobia will then start avoiding them.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you've mentioned several times feeling like an idiot for experiencing this. It is really common, actually. So
Okay.
you're
It's not just me then.
No, it's not just you. You're not
Okay.
alone with this at all.
Yeah.
It's a common difficulty, but it is a very treatable difficulty as well. So there's
Okay,
lots
that's
of
good
things.
to hear.
Yeah, there's lots of things that could help you with this. So coming along is the starting point of that.
Yeah.
And the treatment that we use, that we offer in our service, is based on cognitive behavioural therapy principles of
Yeah.
that. Have you come across that before?
Yeah, my husband has used it before. So sort of
Okay.
changing the way you think. And
Yes. So changing the way you think can be part of the treatment approach.
okay.
What we use a model at Health in Mind to help you understand your symptoms, to help you start making sense of things. So I'll
Yeah.
show you it here. We've got this booklet here.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so this is an example of Tammy who's experiencing the same sorts of problems as yourself.
Yeah.
So we have the A, which stands for autonomic symptoms, which is physical symptoms. So it is things like palpitations, feeling trembly, hot and sweaty.
Yeah.
We have the B, which stands for behaviours, which is simply what you might do or not do as a result of how you're feeling. So avoiding things or seeking reassurance from people is common.
Yeah.
And then the last one here is C, which is cognitions, and that's another word for thoughts. So the kinds of thoughts might be, I'm going to collapse, I can't cope, I'm going mad, I've got to get out of here.
Yeah. Mhm.
And these are all closely linked, actually. So the person will experience physical symptoms and then have thoughts about those physical symptoms, and then that will
Yeah.
change what they do.
Similar to me, isn't it?
How do you think this might apply to you then?
So obviously I get the same, so heart racing, hot and sweaty, and then obviously like avoid busy places, avoid public transport, and then how am I going to escape, and
Yeah.
I'm going to have a heart attack.
Yeah, exactly
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. So the treatment that we offer, it focuses on usually one of these areas and aims to
Okay.
break the cycle.
Okay.
So it gives you a tool to break this cycle here.
Right.
Okay. So there is a treatment that could be, and it is very effective actually, for panic and agoraphobia,
Okay.
and it's called graded exposure therapy.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds a little bit
Yeah.
scary, but as a treatment, it helps you to gradually face some of those situations that you've been avoiding. Okay, so it's worth stressing that it's done very, very gradually, one stage at a time, so one step at a time,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't move on to anything else until you're really comfortable with that particular step.
Okay.
So you're very much in control of this.
Yeah.
But we do have a recovery story here by Claire. So she had the same problem.
Yeah.
She's used graded exposure therapy to help her work through this problem.
Okay.
And it is very good if you're avoiding things and there's things that you want to do and get back to doing.
Yeah,
It's a
definitely.
good treatment for that.
Okay.
So I don't know how you'd feel about maybe taking this booklet away and
Yeah.
having a read of this recovery story
Yeah, that's fine.
to help you get a bit of insight into it and think whether it could be useful for you. It's not something you have to do, but
No, I'm
it's,
happy to do that.
you know,
Yeah,
you could have
that's-
a read about it, and we could then meet again and discuss it
Yeah.
and think about what might be helpful.
Yeah. No,
Does
that's
that sound
absolutely fine.
okay?
Yeah.
So there's a few pages here, so it goes up to page 18 here, and
Okay.
it just illustrates what Claire did. So if I
Okay.
give you that,
Yeah, that's fine.
is there anything that you think might make this difficult to do?
No, I've got some time off, so yeah, I can do
Okay.
it on my days off. Yeah, not a problem.
And how long do you think you might need before our next appointment?
No. Next week, maybe?
Yeah,
Is that okay?
That would be fine.
Yeah.
So how about Tuesday at 10 o'clock again? Would
Yeah.
that be all right?
Yeah, that's absolutely
I'll
fine.
put that in there.
Okay.
So, just to clarify then, so we've explored your main problem today, we've
Yeah.
gone through questionnaires, looked at your safety, and we've put together the problem statement. You'll be going away, having a look at Claire's recovery story,
Yeah.
and then we can think about the graded exposure therapy in the next appointment,
Okay.
and plan from there.
Yeah. No,
Does that sound all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, well it's good to meet you today,
Thank
Jenny.
you, thank
And
you.
you take care, won't you?
See you
And I'll
next
see you
week.
next week.
Yeah,
All
thank
right,
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.